I'm Major John McDougall, and this is my husband, Dave Gilbert.
I'm Dave Gilbert, and this is my husband, John McDougall. Thank you for introducing me.
I think back to my first tour where we were writing things on single sheets of paper that had to be folded a certain way and then sent through UN mail, and it was censored. And I think about how difficult that was. And then my last tour in Libya, I was texting him every day. I could call him as many times a day as I want because I had a cell phone. So I think that communication piece is still the anchor, but the evolution of how that communication has worked and what lessons we've learned from how to effectively communicate versus just saying, hey, I'm doing fine. Well, that doesn't sound like you would normally say you're doing fine. Is that just how you're feeling today? Is there something in that message that I'm not getting, or are you hiding stuff that you're really not doing well? You're just saying that you are. So the evolution from being able to write a few words to being able to have face-to-face communication, to read facial expressions, that whole gamut of face-to-face communication. But yeah, I think communication is probably what's held us together. It's allowed me to grow, as I said earlier, but he's always...
Like, I've always been pretty practical, like right from the beginning. I'm like, this is his job. And that, even I said, you might have mentioned earlier, I said, well, I know what it's about, right? Even though, yes, I may have not known 100% of what it was about, especially in that incident when he got posted to Sierra Leone, or toured to Sierra Leone. But I come to the realization that I have my job and I have my life and he has his. And where we can meet in the middle is where we get together. And that requires communication, right? Because I have my life and he has his life, but I have my life and you have your life. But if we don't communicate, well, then we're never going to have discussions. We're never going to have anything beyond my life and your life. So I think the communication and the realization that communication is important to our relationship and our separate lives, right? Because we're also not one of those people that are like, oh yeah, he went away for 6 hours and I just can't bear to do, no, we know that that's going to happen, but we need to talk about when we're not feeling well, or when something's not going right, or even when I know it's his job, but I'm just not in a good space right now. Let's talk about this and how we can overcome some challenges there. So I think that John hit it right on the head. It's been communication throughout our entire relationship. And sometimes it's not been good. Not saying that we're always like the best communicators and we know exactly what is on each other's minds, but I think when it comes down to especially the point where we need to talk about, we talk. So
my perception that I'm the only one having a bad day, and I FaceTime or text Dave and he may be having a bad day, but my assumption is I'm away from home, I've had a shitty day, you have no idea what I'm going through. And then I think back to, again, Sierra Leone, and I'm like, he has a life there. He's minding the house, he's minding the cats, he has work problems, he has home problems. I need to be a little bit more in tune with what's going on with him at home, so that can I dump, can I complain about what's going on? Absolutely. But it's done in a way that I acknowledge he has problems, and it'll be like, I think my problems are worse, so I'm going first today, and I'll dump everything, and then he does his turn, or vice versa. So the fact that we can talk about what's going on, not only without judgment, but trying to decide, do I need an ear or do I need advice? Which one of those two? And Dave can find that fine point of, is it advice he wants or is it listening that he wants?
Most of the time when I'm having a really bad day, I don't really care what he's talking about. And I think I understand that. I think he does too. And I think more couples need to understand that, is sometimes it's not just all about my issue. And I know when anybody's feeling really, really stressed or bad or really, really had a bad day, it's really hard to think about the other person. Yeah. It is, right? Because it's my problems, I'm having the problem, and I can't think of anything else because it's on my mind. And I think both of us have, I think it's especially in the past, I'd say 5-6 years, we're starting to understand that, yes, my problems are important, but so are his, right? And I think that's really, really, it's a realization I think most couples need to actually to tune into.